Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm back with another one. So, I've been talking about the whole Will Smith situation, the slap that's been heard around the world. But I haven't done a commentary solely focusing on Chris Rock. And this will be my first commentary that's going to be about him. And this is according to People Magazine, and it reads, Chris Rock speaks out about Will Smith Oscar smack for the first time. I'm still processing what happened. Will Smith apologized to Chris Rock in a statement on Monday, admitting that there's no place for violence. Chris Rock is breaking his silence about the Oscar incident when Will Smith struck him on stage after the presenter made a joke about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. The comedian had a show at Wilbur in Boston Wednesday night, where he addressed the ordeal, telling the audience, I'm still processing what happened. A very rowdy crowd screamed Rock's name before his first appearance since the 94th Academy Awards, according to an audience member. The comedian then took the stage dressed in all white and received a standing ovation. What's up, Boston? He asked the crowd before adding, how was your weekend? After Rock said that he was still processing what happened at this year's Oscars, he told fans in the audience that he would probably talk about what happened at some point in a serious manner, according to the audience member, but that he had written a whole show full of jokes for Wednesday evening. Prior to the show, the line of hundreds waiting to see Rock wrapped around the block, and the last few ticket holders didn't get into the Wilbur until after 8 p.m. The show was scheduled to begin at 7:30 p.m. Though there was some in the crowd yelling Will Smith during the show, the audience member says Rock did not acknowledge the shouts and never mentioned the Best Actor Oscar winner by name once throughout the set. Except for a couple of weird things, life is pretty good, Rock said later in his stand-up routine. Following Sunday night's altercation, ticket sales for Rock's upcoming tour date saw a spike in popularity, according to secondary ticket seller TickPick. Rock sported a navy baseball cap and black winter jacket as he arrived at the Wilbur. About 20 onlookers called out to the performer, but he did not acknowledge them. Inside the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles on Sunday, Rock presented an award, taking time to crack a few jokes, including one about Pinkett Smith's appearance. He made a gag about her hair matching Demi Moore's shaved head in the movie G.I. Jane, which Pinkett Smith recently opened up about, revealing it was a result of having alopecia. Pinkett Smith, 50, was visibly unamused by the joke, rolling her eyes from her seat. Seconds later, Smith, 53, walked on stage and approached Rock, smacking him in front of the audience and millions watching the telecast at home. Back at his table, Smith shouted to a stunned Rock, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Smith remained seated with his wife at his table for the rest of the night. Rock declined to press charges. When Smith won Best Actor later in the ceremony, he apologized to the Academy and his fellow nominees, but did not mention Rock. In a tearful speech, he spoke about acting out of love and protection, saying, love makes you do crazy things. On Monday, Smith publicly apologized to Rock in a statement shared on Instagram, saying, I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. He also said violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, to the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. Continued Smith, I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Also on Monday, the Academy said in a statement, the Academy condemns the actions of Mr. Smith at last night's show. We have officially started a formal review around the world The incident will explore further action and consequences in accordance to the bylaws, standards of conduct, and California law. On Wednesday, the Academy said that Smith was actually after the incident, but refused. That's still debatable. But people are saying that didn't really happen. Things unfolded in a way we could not have anticipated, read a statement issued to People. While he would like to clarify that Mr. Smith was asked to leave the ceremony and refused, we also recognize that we could handle the situation differently. Okay, for starters, number one, as I'll say and I'll say it again, Chris Rock should not have been smacked in the face at all. Will should not have smacked anyone. Number two, Will, I wish you didn't do this because it took away. I wish you wouldn't have did this, Will, because it took away from an historic night that you had. You was poised to walk out of there on the level of Denzel Washington, on the level of a Sidney Poitier. You actually more so because you had blockbuster films. Sidney didn't have blockbuster films, but you were going to be on a level of Denzel. You were going to be the most iconic winner because you came from hip hop. First of all, we got to say something. Before Will Smith won, the award winner for Best Documentary, which was the award Chris Rock was presenting, was won and awarded to Questlove from The Roots. He is, if I'm not mistaken, the first hip-hop artist to win an award for Best Documentary. That was major. So it's really interesting how a hip-hop icon basically assaulted Chris, and he was given the award, even didn't know it, to somebody who would win from hip hop. It's weird. But what also was weird and it hurt is that Will was to walk out of there being the first hip hop icon to win an acting award, an Academy Award in a leading acting role. And he would have been the first to win for not a stereotypical role because the role was very positive. The only thing that you could say was stereotypical was the way he portrayed King Richard in terms of the way he spoke. Yes, his head was kind of down when he spoke to the white people and things like that, like when he was talking to them a little bit. But other than that, it was not stereotypical. He wasn't a drug addict. He wasn't a killer. He wasn't a con artist. He was an upstanding citizen. But you allow your emotions to get in the way, Will, because of the anger that you and your wife have for Chris Rock going back to 2016, which is rightfully so. And I agree with the anger. And I'm upset because Chris is the hero. Now, if you know me, I've talked about Chris Rock before. I am a huge Chris Rock fan when it comes to his comedy. But the last couple of years, I haven't laughed as much because I've learned that a lot of jokes that he tells, he's telling them for the amusement of white people. When he's joking about a white person, it's like an everyday type of joke. It's like a comedic joke. But when he's joking about black women, it's very painful to watch the white people in the audience really, 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 really laugh. And then watching him degrade black people, particularly black women. Okay? And I had to learn the hard truth about this because my friends are not Chris Rock fans. They're more Kevin Hart fans. They're more, even though I don't like him at all, they're more Mike Epps fans. Like, he doesn't do it for me at all as a comedian. I'm going to be honest with you. They're more like from that raunchy type of comedy, which is cool and all, but I just thought Chris Rock was just so funny, particularly the movies. I still watch Head of State. I watched Head of State a couple of months ago. I think back in the fall. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the fall. I love the movies. I love Pootie Tang. I fucking love Pootie Tang. But I found out a couple of years ago when I was, like organizing my DVDs that I had. I found out the director was none other than Louis C.K., the same person that he said was the niggerest white man that he ever knew. So when I was putting all this together, it kind of changed. Like, not saying that I didn't think Pootie Tang was less funny, but it was sort of weird to me that a white man directed Pootie Tang. I thought a black man and Chris Rock collaborated, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought Chris Rock was the director of Pootie Tang. Because in those days, when I would buy a DVD, I did not read the back of the DVDs like I read the back of the covers of the music liner notes. I was more into like, who wrote this? Who produced that? You know, I was big into music. Like the movies, I was just like, okay, who's starring in it? That was it. It wasn't like directing it unless it was like a serious type of movie or so, like Oscar-worthy buzz. But when I found that out and I started piecing together, I was like, oh my God, my friends are right. Oh my God. And that's when it hit me like, God, I think I've been duped. But I'm not going to take away from Chris Rock's humor because he is funny. But I came to the conclusion a while back that Chris Rock is humorous for white people. He's not doing it for blacks. And that's our pill to swallow. But I think this is a learning lesson for Chris Rock in that you can't talk about, this is what happens when you harm. It's a weird type of karma for both of them, Chris and Will. The karma for Chris is that you got G-checked in a strange way by someone that you never thought would have laid hands on anyone, let alone you. Because you and Jada worked together in Madagascar. You all were industry friends. And you went a little bit too far because, as I said, you don't crack on someone who's not a nominee. The roaster, because he came out there to roast and tell a little bit jokes. You were supposed to focus on Will. I don't believe that joke was written. I believe that joke came off the cuff of Chris Rock's head. It came off the cuff. Because it's been enjoyable to talk about Will and Jada. Because Jada, without Will, she doesn't really have leverage. She doesn't have leverage at all. That's why you notice she added that Smith to her name. As soon as she got married, she was Jada Pinkett Smith. Smart move. I would have did that too if I was her. But Will karma, I feel, comes from Janet Hubert. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I might talk about it tonight, but I'm talking about that tomorrow. And I'm going to break that down. And surprisingly, Janet Hubert defended Will and Jada and said that it's time out for black men to think that they can make black women the butt of all their jokes. Think about Sheila Bridges, a woman that I actually, spoke to in passing many years ago. She lives in my neighborhood. Now, Sheila Bridges is an interior designer. Yes, I live in a neighborhood with people of importance. I'm not rich, but the area of Harlem I live in is middle class. I live in a middle class area. She's a very friendly person. The way she looks on camera is the exact way she looks in real life. And you can see she has alopecia. If you look at the documentary, or I'm going to call mockumentary Good Hair. I say mockumentary because when he was speaking to Sheila Bridges, I don't think she really saw it. But he was low-key making fun of her. And shout out to Harvey from Your World because he pointed that out. It wasn't a sincerity when he was asking a question. It's like he was holding back like, wow. Because, she was like one of the first to come out publicly and tell a story. And she has a shirt where she like, I'm not a man. I'm not white. I'm not handicapped. I'm not gay. I'm not all these things. I just have alopecia. I lost hair follicles. And she had beautiful hair. And that was just sad. But I don't wish any of them ill. But I think that this is a learned lesson for Chris. You have to know when you are a comedian and when you are a court jester. And to see all these white people rallying around Chris Rock who are problematic and done things like, look at Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, I'm going to talk about him tonight. Jim Carrey not only sexually assaulted Alicia Silverstone, but he even attempted to sexually assault Will Smith. At the MTV 1997 MTV, no, was it 1996? It was one of those movie awards. She was like 20 years old or something. I mean, really, and that was just really, really, really gross just to see it happen. So him coming out against Will backfired because they unearthed videos of him sexually assaulted, not just Lisa Silverstone, but also Will. And maybe that's probably why he was salty, because he probably really wanted to get some of Will. And I found Jim Carrey's comedy to be funny, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And it's telling me all these problematic people, and Jim Carrey has had problems too, because they accused him of giving STDs to his deceased girlfriend. These are things that's not funny. And to see those type of problematic people, Judd Apatow, Amy Schumer, Bill Maher, it lets me know that the people that Chris Rock surrounds himself with are people that are harmful to the Black community. And, well, I don't want to say Jim Carrey so much, but only because Jim Carrey hasn't said anything else bad, but what he did with Will, that was harmful, because that was emasculating Black manhood. But as a whole, it's really not a good look, Chris. So you kind of got to understand where it's a karmatic thing. And I think that in the future, when you get settled and stuff, you need to think about that. Now, I will say one thing. Him not pressing charges, he doesn't want to ruin Will's career, because I think that he likes Will. I think he finds Jada annoying, but I think he likes Will and he don't want to see him hurt. But if the Academy presses charges against Will for what Will did, it would be deserving, because he did it on a international stage. From a legal perspective, yeah. But I don't want to see anybody go down for that. If Chris doesn't want to press charges, listen, Will Smith already resigned from the Oscars board. You know, it is what it is. But Chris could sue him. And then Chris could sue the Academy, because he was on the clock getting paid. And he was doing a service, which was to make people laugh. That would be major. Now, what if Chris was the host that night? What would have happened? He would have to go on and do that whole show. Would they have escorted Will out? Because I don't think they were planning on to do that, because they knew he was going to win the Oscars. And it was maybe 30 minutes before the Best Actor Oscar was awarded, because I saw it, but I didn't see it live. And when I saw it, I waited 2 hours to see that. But I did get the notification from New York Post around about 10 something. And it said, Will slaps Chris Rock. But I assumed it was just a joke. It was part of sketch. I'm thinking I must read, it was part of sketch. But then Tariq Nasheed was slap, smackdown, something like that. And it was like a G-checking. And I'm like, oh shit, this is big. Well, they're going to come for Will Smith now. He's the new Bill Cosby. Nobody ain't talking about Bill anymore. You notice that, right? Because they can't get him no more, because the highest court said, nope, done. So now they have to Will. My advice to both of them, y'all got to watch your nose. Y'all got to basically keep your heads up. And with that being said, it's your girl, Miss Analytical. I'm signing out. Thank you, and later.